Last class we have discussed some applications of Nernst distribution law, and the next application is study of chemical equilibria involving complex ions. Study of reaction between iodine and potassium iodide that occurs in aqueous solution can be studied using this Nernst distribution law. Carbon disulfide or carbon tetrachloride, that is the solvents that may be used as second solvents for study such an equilibrium. And the distribution coefficient K for studying distribution of iodine between water and carbon disulfide is known from experiments. And we suppose we are taking a solution of iodine and carbon disulfide containing uh, A moles of iodine per liter is shaken with an aqueous solution of potassium iodide containing B moles of potassium iodide per liter. We are shaking these two solutions, and amount of iodine passed into aqueous layer, let it be C moles per liter. The amount of iodine that passes into aqueous layer be C moles per liter. Then the concentration of iodine carbon disulfide layer. We are taking A moles of iodine, and then it is distributed between water and carbon disulfide, and we know that in aqueous layer this iodine is C moles per liter. So the concentration of iodine in ca- ca- in carbon disulfide layer B, that will be equal to A minus C mole. Applying distribution law, concentration of free iodine in aqueous layer divided by concentration of iodine in carbon disulfide layer is equal to K. So concentration of free iodine in aqueous layer will be equal to K into A minus C, that is, let it be D mole per liter. To find formula of the complex formed, we can assume the following equilibrium. We are assuming such an equilibrium, that is, potassium iodide react with iodine to give Ki3 in aqueous solution, and then C minus D mole of iodine must combine with C minus D moles of that is D is the free iodine in aqueous layer, and that C is the total iodine in aqueous layer. So C minus D mole of iodine must combine with C minus D, 1 mole of potassium iodide will combine with this 1 mole of iodine. So C minus D mole of iodine must combine with C minus D mole of potassium iodide to form C minus D mole of complex Ki3. And let us study the equilibrium, that is the reaction Ki plus I2 gives gives Ki3, and the initial concentration of potassium iodide, let it be B mole per liter, and initial concentration of iodine, we know that C moles of iodine goes into this aqueous layer. So it is total concentration is C mole per liter. And after attaining equilibrium, this concentration of these species, that is, after attaining equilibrium, we already said that C minus D moles of potassium iodine reacts. So total B minus C minus D moles of potassium iodide is remaining, and D mole of iodine is also used, and combined with the D mole of iodine to form C minus D mole of potassium iodide, and K dash of this equilibrium is equal to concentration of Ki3 divided by concentration of Ki into concentration of I2, that is C minus D divided by B minus C minus D into D. And the results of various determinations and shows that K dash as a constant. We are experimenting with these concentrations in several experiments. K dash is found to be a constant. K dash means Ki3 divided by Ki into I2 is found to be a constant. So we can assume that we can conclude that the complex formed between Ki and I2B Ki3. Such complex reactions can be studied using Nernst distribution law. This is an example, and such complex reactions can be studied using this Nernst distribution law. And that's all with the applications of Nernst distribution law. Now, the another important topic in phase equilibria is steam distillation. That is systems which are immiscible systems. And the steam distillation, you know that steam distillation is an important method that we are using to to separate two components and two immiscible liquids in two components, that is easily evaporating liquids can be separated using this method. And two immiscible, and let us see what is happening. Two immiscible liquids in contact with vapor constitute a two component three phase system, and hence it's mono and on applying phase rule we know that we can assume that F is equal to C minus F is equal to C minus P plus 2, that is 2 minus 3 plus 2 is equal to 1, that is at constant temperature. Vapor pressure is constant for all compositions, two immiscible liquids and their vapor in contact. And we know that Dalton's law, partial pressures, total pressure P of a liquid system when two liquids are in contact with each other, miscible liquids and are in contact with each other, the total vapor pressure will be equal to the sum of partial pressures of the two liquids, that is P0A plus P0B. Examples for almost immiscible liquid systems are carbon disulfide water system, carbon tetrachloride water system, fluorobenzene water system. All these are examples for systems which are almost immiscible or almost immiscible. And the boiling point of binary immiscible liquid system will be lower than either of its components since due to this law. That means they boil when total vapor pressure will become equal to atmospheric pressure, and their total vapor pressure is independent of their relative amounts in liquid state, and it depends upon and it remains constant as long as the two layers are present. It depends only on the partial pressures of two liquids in the vapor phase only, and it is irrespective of the amount of liquids or relative ratio of liquids present in the liquid state. This is principle is applied to steam distillation, where one of the solvents involved is water. If one of the solvents involved is water, we can use the technique of steam distillation uh, for recovery of the other liquid from water. That is one organic that is a liquid which is immiscible with water can be separated from water using the method of steam distillation, and we can also purify that steam volatile liquid from a mixture. Pure steam volatile liquid can be obtained from liquid using the technique of steam distillation. At first, we have a look on the principle of this method. And the ideal behavior, we are assuming ideal behavior of vapor here. That is the vapors of which are obeying kinetic gas equation. The total V, volume of the vapor at constant temperature, T Kelvin. Na and Nb, the respective numbers of moles of components A and B, respectively. Then we write P0B is equal to NaRT, P0BV is equal to NBRT, according to ideal gas equation. So P0A by P0B is equal to Na by Nb. If Wa and Wb denote the respective masses of A and B in vapor, Ma and Nb be respective molar masses. So P0A by P0B is equal to W by A by Ma divided by WB by MB. WA by WB is equal to P0A MA by P0B MB. And this is the weight of A by weight of B. That's equal to P0A MA divided by P0B MB. And it can be used to purify liquid provided it is practically immiscible with water, steam volatile, and not decomposed by steam at the temperature of steam. Such liquids can be purified using steam distillation. Steam distillation is an important technique to purify organic liquids. So the conditions are they should be practically immiscible with water, steam volatile and not decomposed by steam at the temperature of its boiling point. At first, this is the apparatus to show steam distillation. Here in the left side you can see the impure liquid, which is in the left side we can see a bottle containing water, and by boiling this water we are producing steam, and this steam is passed through a liquid which is to be purified. Liquid containing a mixture containing the liquid which is to be purified. It is also boiled from the bottom, heated from the bottom, and the steam is passed or bubbled through this liquid, and the liquid vapors mixed with the steam rise up rise up, and it passes through a water cooled tube, a tube which is cooled from outside, water cooled tube, and and this liquid will be cooled when it reaches at the these vapors will be cooled when it reaches at the bottom of the tube, and it is collected as liquid in the RB flask kept at the right side of the picture. And since it contains water and the pure organic liquid which is to be purified, and these two form two layers. Since they are completely immiscible, they will form two layers, and we can separate them easily. This is the method of steam distillation. So a liquid like carbon disulfide, carbon tetrachloride, such liquids which are immiscible with water and steam volatile can be purified by this method. And this is an important method, and you will be asked for exam as an essay question. So the relative amounts of water and the liquid which distill over is given by equation 5. We have equation 5. And knowing the molar mass of water and masses of water and liquid, W and W in the distillate, and also the vapor pressures of the liquids, P0A and P0B of water and liquid at that temperature of experiment. That we have charts available, and the molar mass of liquid can be calculated using this equation. This equation, molar mass of the liquid which we purified can be calculated. That this is used for this is also used for extracting or purifying organic substances liquids from natural products extracts. extracts of natural products with water or any other liquid. We can purify the organic liquids and know their molecular masses. The method, since the system boils at a temperature much lower than the normal boiling points of water and liquid involved, it can apply to purify liquids of high boiling points, liquid which tend to decompose before. We have discussed substances with incongruent melting point. Such substances which tend to decompose below their normal boiling points is reached can be purified by this method. That is, liquid with high boiling points can be purified by this method, and liquids tend to decompose below their normal points boiling points can be uh, purified by this method. And it also helps us to calculate the molecular mass of liquid immiscible with water. That's all about steam distillation. It's a very important topic as far as this phase equilibrium is concerned. Next is problems using this method. That is, and these are workflow problems in Manjusha. An organic liquid found to distill freely in steam at a temperature of 95 degrees centigrade when an atmospheric pressure was 750 millimeter, and the vapor pressure of pure water at this temperature is 634. So P0A and P0B are given. The distillate containing 55 percentage by weight of organic liquid, calculate the molecular mass of the liquid. So we have W water by W liquid is equal to P0 water into M molecular mass of water divided by P0 liquid into molecular mass of liquid. Here we have to calculate M of liquid, and we know that the total pressure that is given. And that is so total pressure is 740. When it boils, it will equal to the atmospheric pressure. When a liquid boils, its vapor pressure will be equal to atmospheric pressure 740. And we know that the vapor pressure of pure water at this temperature is 634. So 740 minus 634, that is 106 millimeters of mercury is P0 of liquid. So we know that we know the P0 of water and P0 of liquid. We found out P0 of liquid, and substituting all these quantities in this equation, it is equal to 131.8. Molecular mass of liquid is equal to 131.58. At pressure of 760 millimeter, a mixture of next problem. At a pressure of 760 millimeter, a mixture of nitrobenzene and water boils at 90 degrees centigrade. If it is given that at atmospheric pressure in sea level, then you can take it as 760 millimeters of mercury. If the value is not given as such, the mixture of nitrobenzene and water boils at 99 degrees centigrade. The vapor pressure of water at this temperature is 733 millimeter. Find the proportion of water and nitrobenzene in the distillate. In the distillate obtained by steam distillation, that we have to calculate W water by W liquid. And in that equation, we know P0 of water, M of water. We can calculate P0 of liquid, and we since the liquid is nitrobenzene, we know the molecular weight of nitrobenzene is 123. So we can calculate W water by W liquid by merely by substituting. So the ratio of weight of water to weight of nitrobenzene is 3.973 is to 1. Next, a problem that is when 100 ml of An aqueous solution of an organic acid containing 5 gram of solute shaken with 50 ml of benzene, 3.36 gram of acid is found to pass into benzene layer. Calculate the distribution coefficient in favor of nitrobenzene. We know that the according to Nernst distribution law, K is equal to C1 by C2. C1 is the benzene layer. In the benzene layer, that is organic acid in the benzene layer, that is equal to, that we have 3.36 acid passed into benzene layer is given. So 3.36 divided by 50 ml, that is concentration of acid in benzene layer. C2, it is the concentration in aqueous layer, that will be equal to total organic acid taken is 5 grams. So 5 minus 3.36 by total volume, 100 ml of water. So 5 minus 3.36 by 100 is equal to 0.0164. K is equal to 4.098. That's the answer. Then 50 ml of a saturated aqueous solution of iodine is shaken with 5 ml of chloroform and mixture is allowed to stand. If the partition coefficient in favor of chloroform is 90, calculate mass of iodine that pass into chloroform. These are simple problems which are asked from distribution law, directly from distribution law. So the solubility of iodine in water 0.7, mass of iodine present in 100 ml, 50 ml of its saturated solution is equal to 0.7 by 1000. That is solubility means 0.7, that in 1 liter. So we have to calculate its weighting 50 ml, 0.7 by 1000 into 50, that is 0.035 gram. Let the mass of iodine thus passed into chloroform layer be x gram. K is equal to C1 by C2. K is equal to 90. C1 x gram per gram m per liter, and C2, that is in water, that is 0.035 minus x. How much it goes to the C1 chloroform, we don't know. So 0.035 x by 50, that goes into water layer. So 90, that we know the partition coefficient, 90 is equal to x by 5 divided by 0.035 minus x divided by 50. So 90 is equal to 10x divided by 0.035x. Solving this, we got x as 0.035 gram. Next, solubility, a problem to determine solubility of iodine in carbon tetrachloride. In a saturated solution, when it is saturated with the 0.345 gram of iodine per liter, and distribution coefficient in favor of carbon tetrachloride is given, it is 81, and we know that at saturated conditions, we have already discussed that at saturated conditions S1 by S2 is also is equal to K. Now it's easy. It is given. S2 is given, S1 we have to calculate, and K it is equal to 89. Just by substituting, we can find out the solubility of iodine in carbon tetrachloride. Then the next problem is about the solvent extraction. 1 gram of an organic substance is present in 100 ml of its aqueous solution. This whole solution is extracted twice successively with the 50 ml portions of chloroform. What mass of substance remains unextracted in aqueous solution after second extraction if K is in favor of chloroform? K in favor of chloroform is 20. So Wn, the weight is equal to Kv by Kv plus B raised to N. K in favor of water, 1 by 20, that is equal to 0.05. W is equal to 1 gram is 100 ml. Small b 50 ml is taken. Extract it is take, that is given. N is equal to 2. Two times the extraction is done. So we can directly substitute this into our equation, kV by kV plus small v, and we amount remaining unextracted we obtained as 0.008264. And another problem, which is in dissociation and association of organic acid. An organic acid undergoes dissociation in water, and the partition coefficient of the acid between water and benzene is 4 in favor of water. When 13 gram of acid is shaken with a system of 100 ml of water and 100 ml of benzene. 100 ml of water and 100 ml of benzene is taken, and this 13 gram of an acid is shaken with this, and 2 gram of it passes into benzene layer. Calculate the percentage of dissociation of acid in water. So C1 into 1 minus alpha by C2 is equal to K. That we have derived the equation since during the discussion of dissociation of solute in one of the solvents. And here C1 is equal to 13 minus 2 by 100, that is 0.11. C2 2 by 100, that is 0.02. Case we know that it is equal to 4 in favor of water. And alpha is equal to, we have to calculate as alpha by substituting. We got 0.11 alpha is equal to 0.03. So degree of dissociation alpha is equal to 0.2727, and the percentage of dissociation that we have to calculate, that is equal to 27.27 percentage. These are all about this chapter, phase equilibria, and its discussion of its problems. Thank you.